Iowa, because Beth Gardner is an American journalist based in London, and she's going to take us through this process, because it's not something that we're very familiar with over here, is it, Beth? It's a little bit different to the way we do things. So let's just take a look at the map, because the first step, of course, towards a new US president is taken tonight in Iowa. It's a quiet agricultural state that nevertheless plays a big role in the election. Does this explain to us why this is so significant tonight, what we're looking at?
Well, these candidates have been on the trail campaigning for just about a year already, and we've got 9 or 10 months to go until the general election in November. Iowa is the first time that actual voters will cast actual ballots. There aren't very many of them, just a few 100,000, but they really punch above their weight in terms of having an impact on the process. Iowa only has about 1% of the delegates that will be allocated in each party for choosing the nominees. But because it comes first, it has a very high profile.
Indeed, very high profile, but even, as you say, it's punching above its weight in many ways. Let's just take a look at this version of the map, which shows us exactly how many votes each state has on election night. There's Iowa over there, and relatively speaking, we can see how it's dwarfed, can't we? And
pretty tiny.
Not as big player at all, is it? What, 6 votes out of 538 college votes there. So that's election night. So frankly, it doesn't make a big difference, does it, Iowa?
Well, it's a long way to go until November, and Iowa has a lot of power now in terms of setting the agenda for each party choosing their nominees. It's not a very representative state. In addition to being small, it's very white, a very heavy presence of evangelical Christians, and that will weight the selection on both sides of the aisle.
Indeed. Let's just take a look at those numbers there, because as you're saying, you know, a tiny population, relatively speaking, 90% white, small percentage of minorities, really, compared to other states. But, as you say, it's the first test for the candidates. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at Iowa as a state, when they talk about who they actually prefer overall, when it comes to their voting history, they have a kind of a checkered past, with the blue or they're red, whether Republican or they go for the Democratic Party.
They do. In a general election, it's considered a swing state. But Iowa does have the ability, because it comes first, to be a springboard for a candidate who doesn't have a very high profile. We saw that in 2008. Barack Obama won a big victory in Iowa, unexpectedly defeated Hillary Clinton, and that really gave him the momentum he needed to push through the subsequent primaries. On the other side of the coin, there's been a lot of Republican, particularly contenders, who've won the caucuses in Iowa and not gone on to do very much. I don't think you would have heard of President Mike Huckabee, who won about 8 years ago, and Rick Santorum 4 years back. So it does have significance, but it can lead either way. There's a long process to come in the months following.
And in your opinion, blue or red this time around?
Well, that's November, and it's pretty hard to choose. We're going to have to wait and see first who each party chooses as their nominee.
Indeed.
And that's really what I was going to help us sort of start to shake out a little bit tonight.
Yeah, well, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.